What is going on, YouTube people? Today, something a little different. We're going to do, I don't really know what I want to call this. PC spot, I don't know. But there's just been a lot of nonsense lately. There really has been. We got CT scanning, we got breakers dipping, we got unlicensed Fanatics nonsense, we got downtowns printed to the moon. And it's good to talk about that stuff. It should be talked about. There should be videos done on it. There should be content made around it to bring awareness to it. But sometimes you just got to switch things up a little bit. And quite honestly, I think this is something, at least myself personally, that we all just kind of forget to do sometimes. And that is actually sit down and look at the cool stuff that we have. So what I would like to do over the course of the next couple of weeks, because I won't do this all in one video, is just kind of focus on various different aspects of my collection. And just kind of walk through, talk about stuff, basically just show off some cards and just appreciate what we have. Just as a reminder to us all, whether it's you sitting at home or, riding a bike or on a jog or in the shower, whatever it is that you're doing, so sometimes we just got to stop and smell the roses and take a look at what we have built around us instead of just get fired up all the time on the internet. That yes, there is a lot of drama in the card space. Yes, there is a lot of bad stuff in the card space, but let's not forget, we got all this cool stuff. So this video, I can tell you right now, will perform like crap. It's kind of also another little, I don't want to say a test, but this will be an interesting case. I already know how this is probably going to do. Look at the view count and the engagement on something like this compared to any nonsense that's happened in the last couple of weeks. CT box scanning, the video I did the other day about the repacks from the vending machine. I am sure this video will underperform pretty much everything that I've done because you hear this a lot. Why don't we see more collector content? Why don't we see people talk about cards? Why don't we see cool cards? It's because those videos don't perform well. And as content creators, sometimes I think we get caught in the trap of that hamster wheel. So today we're breaking out of that and we're just going to sit back, relax, look at some cool cards. Now, the two main things I want to focus on today, I guess three, because one I laid out on the back. I have various different aspects of the collection. Obviously, I have comic books. We'll do that in a later video. Non-sports cards, we're going to touch on some of that today. Marvel cards, Indian stuff, Manny Ramirez stuff, all that. So aspect one, and I'm not going to pick these all up individually. I'm just going to slide this stuff out of the way. My LeBron refractor run, which is still very incomplete. This is something I've been working on for a few years now. I still need the rookie as the crown jewel. Other than that, I have all the ones that I air quote want. I am missing a couple, but the two that I am missing, I do not love the images on it. If I could get them cheap enough, I'll grab them, but I'm in no real big hurry. But we have the 07. I absolutely love that image. We have the Chalk Toss, absolutely iconic. My favorite one, the 2009, which is the dunk in the Eastern Conference Finals, looks absolutely fantastic. And then we have the second year over there. So one day I'll get the rookie. That'll be the crowning jewel. Probably in like an 8, 8.5, maybe a 9 if prices come down low enough. That's something I've been working on since the early days of the channel. I think I picked up the second year first, and then I believe I got the Chalk Toss, then the 09, and then picked up the 07, actually fairly recently, about 6-7 months ago. It was like in the late winter. Sports is not what the focus is going to be on today. We're going to focus on one of my main collections, which is this pile over here. And then one, like I said, I hinted about this in a video a couple weeks ago. It's not one that I talk about very often, but I have been slowly accumulating a couple cards a year, and I got a couple new additions to it even since the National, and that's wrestling autos. I have been on a big wrestling kick post-National. I bought those couple autos. SummerSlam was in Cleveland. I ended up signing up for Peacock just to watch it since it was local. And then, you get access to the WWE network. So I've been watching the Monday Night Wars documentary. Like there's 20 episodes on there on that, because I grew up, I was born in 81. I grew up in the peak of two basically wrestling peaks. You know, the Hogan Macho Man era was into it super big then, fell out in the early 90s, and then was a senior in high school graduated in 1999. And everyone was really big into wrestling. That my sophomore, junior, senior year into college was the rise of The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, the Monday Night Wars, the Attitude Era, NWO, all that stuff. And I lived and died by Monday Night Raw. Fell out of it when I got into college, as you know, The Rock left and things like that, and you know, the industry slowed down since then, and it's kind of never really been the same since, quite honest. But I've recently been building up some autos from wrestling. This is one I picked up fairly recently on ComC. Jim Ross, if you grew up during that time period that I just mentioned, Jim Ross, yeah, I mean, there's been him and the King together. I have so many fond childhood memories of listening to those two, and young adult in my teenage years. Listening to those two call matches was absolutely great. Obviously, prior to that, we had, you know, Vince McMahon was on the mic and Jesse the Body. Now, this is the one I just picked up. So I've been running through some of these recent autos. Actually, I'll show this one last. So this one I just got at the National. You've all seen this if you've watched the channel. The Undertaker Kane dual auto from Immaculate. This WWE Immaculate stuff is really, really nice. I gotta admit, their on-card autos are really nice. The cards look really, really good. We got the old school one from when I was a kid, the Bushwhackers. They just absolutely cracked me up back in the day. Love them. You gotta have a Stone Cold. I was very picky with this auto because Stone Cold has a ton of autos. When this one came out, this is from 2022 or 2023, I think. Bought this at last year's National. I remember seeing this image and saying, I have to own that card. I just absolutely had to have it. So the image to me is very important on the wrestling autos because they are pretty common. And for the most part, they are actually fairly reasonable. This one was a little bit more expensive because, once again, everyone wanted that image. But when you think of Stone Cold, I mean, other than a stunner, him smashing two beers together is about as good as it gets. Same thing with probably one of my all-time favorite wrestlers growing up, HBK. Had to get the one with the signature moves insert with the sweet chin music on the British Bulldog. Once again, does not get any better than that. And I'm not running out to buy every wrestling auto under the sun. I mostly have been chasing guys that I enjoyed watching or rooting against in some cases when I was a kid. When I was a little kid, loved Bret the Hitman Hart. He was one of my favorites in that early 90s era. Him and Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, the three of them, some of the matches that they had against each other, it was absolutely fantastic. And I would like that. I don't have a Razor Ramon auto, but it is on the list. That's one that I got to get. And same thing, I really like this one with the nicknames. I believe the 3 dots, someone had told me, or the dots are for his kids, for the number of kids that he has. Because you'll see that on a lot of his different autos. But that's absolutely cool one there. And then we had to get the crown jewel. Like I said before, if you grew up in the 80s, you got to have a Hulk Hogan auto. This is another one where Hogan signs a ton. His autograph is not hard to find. So I was very picky about the image, and I paid a premium for this one. This was about $575, I think. I snagged this on eBay right after the National. This was my FOMO after the National purchase. But this is just a fantastic image on this card. Once again, out of Immaculate Celebrations. This is numbered to 49. And if you were born in 1981, when you close your eyes and think of Hulk Hogan, that is one of the images that you see. To me, it is that and him being in a sleeper hold and the ref dropping his arm 3 times. And on the third drop, it falls 3/4 of the way. And then he starts slowly shaking it and hulking up. Like, that's image number 2 in my mind when I close my eyes and think of Hulk Hogan. This is number 1. Him doing the ear thing and everyone losing their absolute mind. So absolutely love this card. Love the image on this. And like I said, you could get Hogan autos for cheaper. 2 things I wanted, or 3 things I wanted. A pretty clean auto, I wanted on card, and I wanted a good image. And this check marked all 3 boxes. Really happy to add that one in. As soon as I saw that one, I was like, yep, that is the one that I am going after. So, like I said, nice little small wrestling PC that I am slowly working on. Things that I would like to add to it, I would like to add a Razor Ramon auto. They are out there. I would like to get some more members of DX, as that was my favorite in that Attitude era. I would love a Rock auto. They're super rare, super expensive, and a lot of shady stuff with them. Next, and this is where we'll kind of close out after this one, my Star Wars auto PC. I got a lot of upgrades to this during the National, and I've added one card since the National. Now, I mainly collect Star Wars Stellar. Not all the actors that I like are in Star Wars Stellar. They no longer produce the set. So anyone from the newer shows don't exist in there, unfortunately. So you got to do what you got to do. And I'm going to give a little asterisk here. We're going to start out. This isn't necessarily a true Star Wars one. It's a Marvel auto. But we'll give a mention to the Jon Favreau auto, as he is basically the godfather of modern Star Wars with The Mandalorian and a lot of the TV shows and stuff. So that is a little bit of a tangential one. So in non-stellar stuff, I picked these up from the recent Masterwork sets. These are two characters that I absolutely adore from the newer stuff. Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan. One, I love Bo-Katan as an animated character. Loved her in live action, and I've been a huge fan of Katie Sackhoff since Battlestar Galactica. I absolutely love Battlestar Galactica. Fantastic TV show. If you haven't watched the modern one, highly recommend checking it out. She has an amazing character in that show as well. So super excited to add this one. I picked this up as soon as Masterworks come out because I wanted a Katie Sackhoff on card. And then I picked up a Timothy Olyphant as Cobb Vanth, or the Marshal. Snagged this one as well out of that same Masterworks set. I'm not a big fan of the design, but it's one of the few on-card auto sets that they have at the time. So I went ahead and grabbed those. Next up, and I kind of grouped these in a little bit of order. This is animation stuff. I have the Ashley Eckstein, Ahsoka Tano, and then I forget her name, Tia Seclair, the actress that plays Sabine Wren, dual on-card auto. Then just a straight up Ashley Eckstein. She has a fantastic signature. This is I really like the image on this card as well, with the kind of like painted canvas background on it. But I mean, absolutely crush it. That is David Eckstein's wife, in case anyone is wondering. She signs a ton. Her autos are not that expensive, but if you like Star Wars animated, it's pretty hard not to like Ahsoka. This one actually just got in the mail. This was a ComC pickup. I have a Lars Mikkelsen auto already, but I did not have one from Stellar. So I went ahead and grabbed this one. Mad Mikkelsen's brother and the voice actor for Grand Admiral Thrawn, and also the live action actor for Grand Admiral Thrawn. I was a huge fan of the Star Wars books growing up, the Heir to the Empire trilogy, and that's where Thrawn is first introduced, and absolutely fell in love with the character then. So it's really cool to have the animated auto plus the live action auto of the character, because Lars did an absolutely fantastic job with him. This is another one from the animated. This is Seventh Sister. Not a major character at all. But the interesting thing here is the voice actress for this was Sarah Michelle Gellar. So she obviously has a ton of fame as an actress outside of Star Wars. This was kind of a bit part. The main reason why she did it is because her husband, who is one of the main characters in Star Wars Rebels, is Freddie Prinze Jr. So I'm assuming that's how she did it. Sarah Michelle Gellar does not have a ton of autos, and I believe a lot of them she does not sign the full name anymore, the Sarah Michelle. It's just like SMG or something. It's just initials, basically. So these actually go for a few $100, more so just because of the fact that it's a Sarah Michelle Gellar autograph, not so much because of the character, which was one of the cool aspects of non-sports stuff. As we get into out of animated and into Rogue One, probably my favorite modern Star Wars movie, not close. K2SO, voiced by Alan Tudyk. If you're a Firefly person, Alan Tudyk, absolutely legendary on that show and was hilarious as K2SO. Ben Mendelsohn is director Krennic. Good villain. Very good villain for that movie. Really like the way this card presents as well. 2017 Stellar looks absolutely gorgeous. This is the first year, and it was a banger set in regards to autographs. I would really like the Harrison Ford out of this, but I already have a Harrison Ford auto, just not from this set. Jenner or so, Felicity Jones. This was one that I targeted pretty early as well to knock off. This is one of the more expensive ones at probably about $500 or $600. Just because she was only in 2 years of Stellar, and one was the more modern era that a lot of people don't like, with the triangle background. So once again, I absolutely adore Rogue One. I wish there was more autos from that movie. You can't have a Star Wars auto PC collection without Billy D. Williams as Lando Calrissian. I specifically targeted 2017 because the image is absolutely great. He has a very clean signature on this one. When some of his stuff, that is not the case. Very affordable for his stuff. I think this was only like $100, $200 maybe. Jeremy Bullock is Boba Fett, the original Boba Fett. He has since passed away. So his autos get a little bit of a premium, but not a ton. They're still very reasonably priced. And he has a few different Stellar autos that are out there. One thing about Stellar, if you ever get Stellar, don't grade it. They come in sealed mags. The way Stellar works is you don't buy packs. You actually buy a case where you get the whole set. And then you just don't know what your numbering is going to be on the individual cards. This is a base card. They're all out of 40. And then there are color variations from there. To be honest, I don't really care about the numbering on the cards that much. But hardcore Stellar collectors, and there is a very passionate fan base around these, kind of like Topps Dynasty, they actively don't like them graded in a lot of cases. They would rather have it in a sealed mag than even a PSA 10. I have passed up on cards that I needed graded because I did not want them slabbed. I wanted them in the sealed mag with the Star Wars sticker on it. And a lot of people feel that same way. And you'll see the same thing with Topps Dynasty as well on the sports side. This is a big one to pick up as someone that has really kind of come back into the mainstream. Hayden Christensen is Anakin Skywalker. You know, if you would have talked about this card 5-10 years ago, it would have been a joke. Since the modern Star Wars era has come back, he has gained a lot of steam and popularity, especially with his recent appearance on Ahsoka. Really love that episode. He's been really great since kind of coming back and being re-embraced by the fans in a lot of ways. So I wanted a Hayden Christensen auto. He has a few, but some of them he's as Vader, and I wanted to make sure that I got one where he was unmasked. I think he has 2 versions where he is not Vader, where he is Jedi Anakin. There's this one, and I forget the year on the other one. This was a big one. Rosario Dawson. She has quite a bit of autos now in the newer sets like Masterworks and stuff. But because of the late nature of her coming to Mando, this is her only Stellar release. This is the blue out of 20, I believe. I picked this up 25. Picked this up at last year's National. These go for a decent amount. I think these go for about $1,000 to $1,200, whereas a Masterworks auto will go for maybe $500 or $600. Just kind of shows you the difference between the different sets, even though they're all on-card autos. But yeah, love Ahsoka, one of my favorite characters. Another more recent addition in the last year or so, Ian McGregor is Obi-Wan Kenobi in the blue. This year in particular looks really good on the blue parallels. These are out of 25. We got a nice little color match here with the ink to the background, and it just with the Jedi symbol and everything. I just really think the blue looks great on these. This is one of the more expensive ones as well. As we kind of move through the pile, I saved the big boys for last. This probably goes for about $1,500 to $2,000 for an Ian McGregor Stellar auto. Probably the most expensive card in this entire video, the Pedro Pascal Green. These sell for astronomical sums of money. He has very few on-card autos, period, full stop. He signed in this year of Stellar. This is the green out of 20. I'd actually prefer this in a blue out of 25. I would almost trade this straight up for a blue if the auto was clean. He just does not sign anymore, which has really drove his prices up. In addition to that, he continues to just be in more and more high-profile pop culture roles. This card I picked up a few years ago. It was one of the best buys I ever made. In a Facebook group, I got it for $1,500, which at the time was also a good deal. Was that they were going for about $2,000 back then. I snagged this in like 2021, I think. Maybe, yeah, 2021, I think. And since then, this card has gone absolutely bonkers. The green copy specifically has sold upwards of $5,500. I think they've come down ever so slightly, but this is probably either still over a 4K to 5K card easily. Like I said, Mando, absolutely monster character. He is Joel in The Last of Us. He's about to be Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four. He was the Red Viper in Game of Thrones, which is a very popular niche character, which was kind of his coming out party. And then he's been obviously a ton of other movies and stuff, but just in genre stuff, he is a massive presence. And I have heard that he basically is not signing anymore or rarely signing anymore. So if that stays true, that could always change. I mean, he's a young guy. That could definitely change. But in the short term, the medium term, I have a feeling his auto prices are going to maintain very well just because of the limited scarcity of his stuff. And people that have his stuff cling to it. I have saved searches for this on eBay. They never pop up. There might be one or two listed on there now for extremely high amounts, but these cards just do not come up very often. 3 cards left, and 2 of them you've all just seen. National pickup, James Earl Jones. Gotta have the James Earl Jones auto for a Star Wars PC. The big one, other than the Pedro, the Harrison Ford. This was one of the first big cards I really went after. I really wanted a Harrison Ford auto as Han Solo. Probably my favorite character in all of Star Wars. A lot of people's favorite character in all of Star Wars. Pretty tough to go wrong with Harrison Ford auto in anything, let alone with him as Han Solo. But obviously an incredible actor with an amazing lineup of pop culture roles. And then last but not least, one of the other most recent pickups, the Mark Hamill on card from his 1977 rookie card with the PSA 10 auto grade, authentic card grade. Just picked this up at this year's National. Great signature on this. Some of them are a little all over the place. I've been looking at them. Matches the card very, very well. And these came out of, he just recently did a signing about a year or so ago. He had not signed forever. And he did a signing recently. I did look. There's under 100 of these on the PSA population report with the auto graded or the authentic auto graded. So not a ton of these out there, under 100. And his auto is in some stuff, in pack pulled stuff. It sells for tons of money. So I figured this one for 2K, yeah, it's an in-person auto, but with it being on his rookie card was a nice way to kind of get into it and get an iconic card. And this card presents extremely well. The only big one that I need, that I am actively hunting for, is a Carrie Fisher auto. I do not have a Carrie Fisher. It is the last big auto that I want. I'm still missing like a Chewbacca, a 3PO, and R2-D2. I don't really care, to be quite frank, about those characters in regards to autographs. If I end up with them at some point in time, great, but they are not a primary focus. And of the modern stuff, I have a lot of the ones that I want. There's some side characters and some smaller characters that I want that are very affordable and very attainable that I just keep putting off because there's no rush. But of the big ones, I need a Carrie Fisher. What I've actually been doing since the National is sitting down and looking at kind of what direction I want to go for the Carrie Fisher, because she does have a decent amount of autos out there. They're expensive, obviously, because she's not signing anymore, unfortunately, because she passed away a few years ago. But you could get into one for probably about $1,500 to $2,500, and I ideally like on card. She has a decent amount of sticker autos out there, but I would really like on card. The only exception that I would make would be for a Stellar auto. Her and Mark Hamill's Stellar auto are stickers, which is a little unfortunate, but what are you going to do? So that's all I got for you boys and girls today. A little bit non-sport heavy with the WWE and the Star Wars stuff. And then we got the LeBron refractors in the back. Not sure when I will do the next one, if there'll be another one, but I would like to kind of run through some of my comic book PC stuff. And then I obviously have my Indians PC stuff. A bulk of that is Manny Ramirez. And then I have a bunch of other on-card autos from the mid-90s Indians as well as my other like primary PCs. And then I have my other two, in air quotes, are non-sports autographs like the Favreau and the Patrick Stewart that I recently picked up. And then I have, which is what kind of tie into comic books as well, I have a pretty sized, pretty decently sized Spider-Gwen / Ghost Spider card and comic book collection, PMGs, all that stuff out of Spider-Man Metal. But I recently just added to that. I got a new card coming in the mail that's not here yet, so I'll wait for that one to show up before we do that. So we're going to go ahead and cut it off there. This video probably went way longer than I intended it to. Yep, 25 minutes. As always, curious for your thoughts, comments, and feedback down below. We will catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.